Excellent. Maybe let's get started. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If anyone does join a little bit late, then I'm sure they'll be able to catch up a little bit. Just a few of the ground rules before we sort of get started. So I'm sure when you all joined, you obviously noticed the meeting is being recorded. If you're uncomfortable with that's completely fair. Please just feel free to leave on that. Just another forewarning on it. Your video is off, you are muted also, but throughout the call, if there are any questions, thoughts, concerns, please obviously drop those questions in the chat. My colleagues are in the chat, so they will be able to answer some of your questions. And if there are maybe a few more nitty-gritty ones that we can sort of address, we can always do those at the end of the call or address those individually after the call. That's totally fine also. And then, yeah, just if you guys want to ask any questions, like I said, just feel free to, and yeah, let's have some fun. Let's maybe get started. So yeah, as mentioned, I'm Travis Chappell. I'm the UK Managing Director at Iconic Sales. I'll be running the webinar today. So previously, before Iconic Sales, I worked for a world-renowned generic drug manufacturer as an Amazon channel manager. And before that, I actually worked at Amazon itself, albeit in the beauty section of beauty sector. So yeah, hopefully you guys can learn something today. And yeah, feel free to share your thoughts, concerns in the comments, any questions, and yeah, let's just have some fun. Maybe just a little bit of a step back, just so you all know who you are dealing with. So obviously I did a bit of an introduction about myself, but Iconic Sales is the organization that I do work for. So maybe just a few key metrics about Iconic Sales. We comprise of over 50 Amazon experts. We're located in over 10 Amazon markets, and we have 2 locations in the UK and in Germany. So quite a intercultural European team. Some of our key metrics include 60 to 80% increase in turnover in 90 days. We manage 1.6 million euros advertising budget year to date. And one of our sort of key selling points is that we automate a lot of our content. So video content, photo content, we can create up to 40,000 videos in a few days with our technology, for example. 9 out of 10 customers that have previously worked with us would recommend us again, and that comprise over 200 companies that we've worked with previously that know and love and trust us. We are a verified BidX partner and also an Amazon ads partner. These are some of the brands that know and love and trust us, and they've sort of been with us for a good few number of years. Some of the more local brands, maybe to the UK, include Slim Fast, Tony and Guy, but some of the likes of Nikki, German Elite Nutrition, and Tipkick are all leaders in their fields, especially German Elite Nutrition, which is arguably one of the biggest nutrition brands in Germany. And currently we're helping them launch towards the UK also for your nutritional needs. Some of the awards that we have won at Iconic. So last year we were lucky enough to win the German Web Awards. We've also won the Agent Press Awards for Germany, and then we are a finalist in the German Brand Awards. But we are looking quite positive to potentially win that award. So hopefully we can come back with positive news after this webinar and let you guys know. But maybe jumping right into the action. So brand registry, obviously, you may be new to it, you may know it, you may love it, you may have previous experience with it, but brand registry, sometime or another, you are going to have to deal with it. So the agenda for today is, what are the advantages of trademark registration? What is the brand registry process? Tips on how to get the most out of your brand registration, and then also the plan for a successful brand registration. So maybe just a little bit of a step back. If you have never ever seen the front page, this is the first page that you will be confronted with on brand registry once you have registered your brand on Amazon. So it's quite easy. Once you register the brand, you get accepted onto the brand registry program. And from there, you actually add your own individual brands and ASINs to be covered by the program. So you just create your profile, enter your information about your brand, and then authenticate the details. Quite straightforward. Once you've finished that phase, you sort of enroll your brand a little further. You add the trademark registration, the logo, the trademark numbers, the company and the brand name also, and those all need to be registered with your local intellectual property office. Without it, unfortunately, you can't enroll in it. But it's not all hope is lost, because Amazon does offer a consultation approach with accredited law firms that can help you accelerate your sort of IP process. So it's not all doom and gloom. It's just that you need to get it done. And without those local trademarks in your local regions, you won't be able to register for brand registry, unfortunately. This is the sort of final page before you actually really get into your personal company information. That's obviously all your individual information for your seller accounts, for your distribution channels, your shipping and manufacturing channels. So that I'll leave up to you. But this is the main page for brand information. This is basically what you tell Amazon, what is your brand, where your local property office is registered as an IP aspect, and then also what your trademark numbers are. You can also include any logos here that are trademarked, and then any sort of registered text trademarks also. Maybe some of the advantages. It's always good to have a little bit of an holistic view of what are some of the advantages of trademark registration. Obviously, we all know the disadvantages of it, and Amazon will hound us about it, but some of the advantages that we believe sort of stem a bit further than just registering your brand on Amazon and forgetting about it. Brand registry is about building trust with the customer. It's not really just about registering your brand for your own benefit. It's all about creating trust and creating a sort of deep understanding about your brand, that you know what your customers want, that they can trust your products. That sort of product safety comes into core also. So there's a lot of benefits to brand registry besides just registering a brand and authorizing resellers. So one of the biggest ones is you combat unwanted competition. Obviously, you placed in the driver's seat, you're able to decide who sells your brand, what their sort of brand identity should look like according to your sort of guidelines, and you can kick off any people that don't fit within those prerequisites. You can also raise claims against Amazon for any counterfeit claims. So unfortunately, we do live in a world of fakes and counterfeits. So Amazon has a Project Zero program, or a transparency program, to help essentially drive counterfeits down to zero. And they're pretty good at it. So once you are a brand registered entity, you can unlock one of those components. Moving into brand analytics, so a little bit of deeper part is brand analytics. You can look at sort of basket spend, you can look at demographics, you can really drill down into your customer segments and sort of see where the true essence and interest is in your brand. Without being a brand registered entity, you'll only have basic sort of sales data, but you won't have true deep diagnostic brand analytics. And if you want to have access to these brand analytics and you don't, I suggest try and reach out to the ticketing service at Amazon, give them as much information as possible on why you need it, include any relevant screenshots, and they're more than willing to action for you. It's really an important piece, especially for building your brand segments and your customer base. Number three, if you've never been sort of involved with Amazon Vine, this is probably going to be a little bit new to you, but essentially Amazon Vine is the only trusted and accredited program within Amazon to gain legitimate and real reviews. So essentially you give some products and a small cost to Amazon to get these reviews and ratings. It's not to say these reviews and ratings will be honest, that they won't be honest, or that they will be sort of biased. They will be open, they'll be honest, they'll be literally, if you provide a bad service, you will get a bad review. It's not to say you gave them for free, you will get a good review, but essentially you unlock this with brand registry also. Sponsored brand ads lead nicely into the brand store at point number 7. So without sponsored brand ads, you're not going to really be able to drive traffic to your brand store pages and your brand pages. And that's essentially where you get to tell most of your sort of brand story to the customer also. So it just reduces the likelihood of you converting sales and converting traffic. You also can't do sponsored, different kinds of sponsored advertising metrics. So it just falls into play of, if you're not going to be brand registered and you can't advertise, then essentially how are you going to get your word out there besides SEO and just organic growth? One of the other parts that is more important to you, depending on your brand story and your brand vision, is A+ content. So within Amazon, A+ content drives between 10 to 15% of conversion to customers. So if you need that extra 10 to 15% conversion, this is a real factor for you also. But essentially, it doesn't just fall into conversion. It also sort of really sells your brand image, your brand identity, and builds that trust with the customer. They can see a detail page and they can sort of feel that they're buying from a reputable company, a reputable brand that know what the customers want for their products and sort of tailor it exactly to their needs. So it's all part of the customer journey also. It's not just a look nice and a sales driver. Constant support team. So one of the beautiful parts of brand registry is that you have a constant support team. So 24/7 around the clock, you can raise a ticket and an agent will get in touch with you. You can raise claims, you can follow up on claims. These claims can be relating to infringements of unauthorized resellers or counterfeit claims, and you essentially can get in touch with this team and Amazon will action it. So there's a team at Amazon called, well, a project at Amazon called Project Zero, and that's essentially to drive counterfeits down to zero. And that all forms part of the transparency program. Transparency program is something you can also enroll into if you suffer with a lot of fakes. But that's another segment with putting on legitimate barcodes and brandings to make sure it is your sort of product when the customer buys it, but that's a totally different story. And hopefully saying you guys don't ever need to go down. And then number 7, as mentioned during number 4, your brand store. This is essentially where you really get to tell your brand story. You get to target the customers that come and want to learn more about your products. You can also expose your entire catalog to them there and essentially drive impulse purchases that way. It's also good to mention that competitors cannot advertise on your brand store. So that is completely yours, completely wholly owned by you, and you don't have to worry about competitors advertising on your brand store. So the brand registration process, there are a few bit more intricacies to it, but essentially this is the holistic view. So you create a profile. Essentially, you need to go on brand registry with your seller profiles, with your vendor profiles, however it may be, and register within the program to essentially say to Amazon, look, I am a verified seller and I would like to be as part of the program. Once they authenticate your details, and they grant you access into the program, that's where you enroll your brands into sort of the individual brand enrollment schemes. So with that, you'll need your intellectual property, as mentioned, from your local IPO office. Without it, again, you're not going to be able to do much. So make sure you have those brands enrolled and trademarked before you even start any of this process. There is a way to start the process while your enrollment is in process at your local IPO office, but we sort of don't really encourage that, because if anything does go wrong and you've already enrolled it and you send stock to Amazon, it's a horrible sort of mission to try and get rid of that stock or change that stock out. So always make sure your brand's fully trademarked and fully registered within your locale before going brand registry route. That's our advice. And from there, you'll also load your ASIN level details. So Amazon sometimes does periodically do scrapes on your brand name, and they'll assign sort of, depending on your catalog, what your ASIN is dependent on the brand name, and they'll assign those to within your brand registry protocol. If not, you can manually add it, or you can manually raise a ticket and have it added, and that's totally fine. This is the only way that you'll be able to add certain ASINs into your brand store, for example, or add certain new NPD product ASINs into your sort of brand registry catalog also. So Amazon doesn't always do it automatically, and there's a little bit of extra due diligence needed from you. Brand registry isn't a sort of fire and forget model. It's constantly evolving. You need to constantly update, especially when you do new NPD and new launches and new seasonal launches, and you create new sales channels. It's definitely something you need to consider and continually optimize also. With that, you unlock the tools and brand protection mentioned previously. So you can unlock sort of brand analytics, you can unlock Vine, you can unlock certain reporting metrics also within your seller accounts. And then also you unlock the Project Zero and the infringement reports. So with that, as mentioned, Project Zero's goal is to drive infringements down to 0 and fakes down to 0. So yeah, a really good thing, especially if you do suffer from a lot of fakes and a lot of counterfeit products on your brand. And then a final part is maybe just a nice little cherry on the cake for brand protection. So for example, eBay has started offering brand protection also. We advise having brand protection across the board on all your brands. This is just a bit of like an extra piece to you. It's not fully just related to Amazon, but if all your sales channels are covered, you don't really have to worry about infringements in local markets from any of your channels. So if you've already done it with Amazon, you've already got the IP, the IPOs and the patents and the trademarks and all those good things, you might as well do it with all the seller platforms. So that's just something that we thought we'd include there for you. So as mentioned, especially us at Iconic Sales, we do feel that brand registry goes a little bit further than just sort of forgetting a brand once you've registered. It's continually evolving, and there's just a lot more to it to keep the customer and build that trust and sort of grow your brand profile. So some of the extra parts of it that you can actually get the most out of is obviously you need to have a trademark logo or text. That needs to be done with your local IPO office as mentioned, or you can do it with the World IPO office if you want to have it in numerous regions, but I'll leave that up to you. You need a brand style guide. So that's on and off site, also on and off Amazon, different social media channels, different sales channels, your personal website. How do you want the customer to see you? How do you want the customer to feel when they land on your detail pages? Do you use certain jargon? Do you use certain slogans? Do you use certain keywords or catchphrases within your images or on your products or within your SEO options or your descriptions, your A+? Make sure it's consistent. You don't want a customer seeing something on a social media channel, feeling it's an amazing product. Then when they land on your Amazon channels, that's a pretty poor experience because it doesn't live up to the hype and the expectations. So build a robust brand style and a guide profile and make sure you keep it consistent across the board. Build a meaningful brand profile also. It's not to say if you build it, they will come. It's not the case always. So if you build something and it's not meaningful and you don't get that buy-in from the customers, it's going to be useless. I'm just being frank with you. Customers come where they feel that there's purpose, where they're getting either something good out of it, not just at a low price. Obviously, a lot of people can offer low prices, but sometimes it goes further than that. Are you getting quality? Are you getting customer service? Are you getting the feeling of craftsmanship of a product? And it's really a good way to sort of sell that message over and above beyond just brand registering. Creating meaningful product pages, that's high quality pictures, high quality videos, SEO optimized text, advertising. It goes a lot deeper than just brand registry. Brand registry has a lot of a knock-on effect on a lot of those factors, like we saw, sort of sponsored brand ads, A+ content. Without that, you can't really create meaningful product pages. So like I've said, it goes a lot more beyond than just registering your brand for brand protection. It creates a brand story, it creates essence to your brand, it creates a feel to your brand, and it creates community to your customers, that they feel like they're part of something when they're essentially purchasing this. Periodic brand reviews, like I mentioned, it's not just a fire and forget model. Every quarter, we go through each of our sort of clients and we make sure that there's no unauthorized resellers, there's no counterfeit goods, there's no issues with product quality or trademarking or legislation, anything like that. And we feel that you need to do the same. Periodic brand reviews is an important part, just to make sure someone doesn't sneak past you and is selling an unauthorized product or selling products that are out of date or out of season, or just essentially not in line with your brand sort of vision or strategy anymore. So make sure you stay on top of that. And then counterfeits and infringements is another thing. If you have any authorized resellers, whether it's across the border, local, or they just reshipping or drop shipping, feel free to raise a claim, add as much information as you can, add as many screen grabs as you can, and give as much evidence to Amazon as you can that you are the brand owner. Include trademark numbers, patent numbers, correspondence, any form of issues that you can give to Amazon to prove that you are the brand owner and they are unauthorized and they are selling sort of fake or low quality tier goods. Let Amazon know, even if you need to do test buys of their products to show Amazon a physical product and a physical look of the good. Go the extra mile to protect your brand. That's all we can say. Some of the successful parts of getting your brand registered. So some of the parts are we've gone through a little bit before, but it's always good to reiterate. So number one is create a configure. Just a few other parts to remember is obviously create your profile, configure it for your locale, include all the relevant trademarks, all the logos, all the relevant copy text information and brand information. Make it as granular as possible, and Amazon will be more than likely to accept it quicker also. Optimize your product detail pages. Use the parts that you unlock from your brand registry process to optimize your detailed pages. Build it and they will come, within reason. It's always good remembering that. If you don't build robust detail pages that are SEO optimized, that have good images, that have good video, that have good A+ content, and have a really robust and storytelling brand store, then you've essentially just used brand registry just to protect your brand. You're not going that extra mile to really service the customer. And you service the customer, brings repeat sales, builds trust, builds a community, everybody's happy, everybody wins. Number three, monitor and control. So periodic brand reviews, monitoring and controlling with your local teams. Just do a brand review, do a walk the store every now and then to make sure all your products are up to par, all your detail pages are up to par, and essentially that there are no unauthorized resellers, there are no reviews and ratings that say your products are inferior or they feel that they may be fake. Address those concerns with customers before they spiral out of control. Number four is building a full brand profile again, using all the features on and off site also. So making sure that all your other sales channels are covered within their local brand registry, i.e. eBay's registry. But then also, is your social media channels message consistent with your Amazon channels message? Make sure that there's consistency on and off site, on and off your personal sites also, and just set a style, set a tone, and just make sure it is consistent. You don't want any gaps in the feel of your sort of product or in the feel of your brand in the customer's eyes, because that erodes trust over time. Brand consistency falls nicely into that. Also, make sure you use the same sort of keywords, the same sort of text, the same sort of images on and off your sites within reason. Obviously, Amazon does have their minimum requirements for images, but be quite exciting with your A+ content, be quite informative with your brand stories. go out and tell your entire brand story, put in educational videos, look at enhanced A+ content. There's a lot of avenues you can go down to really increase your brand consistency and build that trust with customers also. And then customer service is probably one of the biggest ones also. Day in, day out, we see a lot of sellers get a lot of customer complaints and they never reply to them. And essentially that does erode sort of your brand trust eventually, and it may impact your account health, which is essentially a different argument. But any customer complaints that are relating to your product's integrity, to the legality of it, to the safety of it, to the applied usage of it or the regional usage of it, reach out to them and make sure it's not a safety concern. Make sure it's not something that can sort of get your company into the spotlight with Amazon, because once you're in the spotlight with Amazon, it's quite hard to get out of it. You don't want your detail pages pulled away. You don't want any issues within Amazon once they start pulling and-on cords due to product safety. So just make sure customer service is on par as quick as possible, and you solve issues before they spiral out of control. That's one of our big things. And then essentially when it comes to infringements and reporting, also reach out to Amazon, even if you feel it's a small infringement and you need them to do an investigation. Rather be prepared than not prepared at all type thing. Rather let it be something small and nothing than spiral into something major eventually. And then continually protect. That's saying that we'll always harp on about, is just continually protect. It's not saying you do once and you forget about it, have a nice day, and that's your business sorted. No, Amazon will do periodic brand scrapes and they will apply your ASINs to your brand name, but it's not a constant thing. So if you want that constant protection, do continually protect. It's that sort of easy, whether it's a monthly walk the store, a quarterly walk the store, or just checking through your catalog, checking through your authorized sellers, and just keeping an open channel of communication. The customer speaks volumes, so that's where your customer service part comes in. Also take any learnings or any messages or any, even if it may seem like the smallest sarcastic thing, think about in what the customer's mind, and think about how it impacts later on in the customer's journey. And yes, as mentioned, if we do have any further questions, we'll address them at the end of the webinar. But up until then, these are my personal details and they will be shared with you after the meeting also. So feel free to reach out. If you don't want to reach out to me, please reach out to us at Iconic Sales. We'd be more than willing to help and answer any additional questions or things maybe that you wanted to hear today but didn't. And we hope we addressed most things. Obviously, we do know there's going to be certain nuances and certain learnings within each individual company. Amazon is a big beast and there's always constant learnings from it. So if there's anything that's really crazy, then reach out. We'd love to learn from you and we'd love to help you also. So yeah, these will just be my details. Some of the next steps, we actually have a few webinars coming up, so hopefully my voice didn't put you guys to sleep, and hopefully you did enjoy saying, because you're going to hopefully be seeing a lot more of me within the upcoming webinars. So we're actually going to be speaking about why search rankings on Amazon are important, how they drive your sales and how they drive your growth for your individual business, why Amazon is not expensive contrary to popular belief, and then something to do with Amazon fashion. I don't know, do you consider yourself a bit of a fashionista? You've always wanted to get into the field. If not, if so, then join us either way. You might learn something pretty cool. And then some of the next steps for us also are ebooks. So some of you may be more readers. I sure know I am not. I'm really verbal. I love listening. I love seeing. But if you are a reader, then we have ebooks for you also, and that may address some of your further concerns. So feel free to obviously go to the link below, download them, save them, share them, spread the word. And then if you would also like anything sort of tailored that is a little bit more bespoke and a little bit more broad, then let us know, and I'm sure we can approach and maybe create something internally for everyone and then share it. But yeah, these ebooks will be all available. They're online, easy to download, so easy to save also. And please reach out if there are any questions towards them also. And right now, I think is a good time to check the chats. I know my colleague has been quite good with questions. It seems most of the questions have been answered. Is there anyone that would like to come onto mic or anything like that, or ask a question, say hi, share a concern or anything like that? If not, as mentioned, that's totally fine. If you are a bit too shy or you're a bit tight for time, reach out afterwards. We are open, we are ready. But yeah, if you'd like to join up, then please ask something now, or yeah, forever hold your peace. Excellent. Well, hopefully everyone was still like part of it, and people didn't get put to sleep on my voice, but I'm pretty sure everyone enjoyed it, and that's the main thing. So yeah, thanks obviously a lot for joining this webinar. We will reshare this afterwards. We'll also share a small update on the next steps of when the next ones are, and also any learnings that we may follow up from. Also, yeah, feel free to check our website, drop us a message on social medias, thoughts, concerns, reach out to me, drop me a message also, whether you liked it, whether you didn't like it, if I should consider a career in podcasting or webinaring, let me know. Anyway, thanks a lot, everyone. I do appreciate your time. And yeah, on behalf of me and Iconic Sales, thanks a lot for everything. And we hope to see you guys in the next webinar. So thanks a lot.